Hello, my name's Adam Rayner. I'm editor of Slingshot World magazine, and I have Mr. Jacob Forrest and Mr. Nathan Masters in meeting on a fabulous bit of software I've just reluctantly downloaded, being a bit of a Luddite, and I'm really here to learn about Slingshot Mastery. So, gentlemen, do tell.
Well, it's pretty simple. We love slingshots. We're all in it for the love. But of course, I make slingshots. But Jacob here, he's been working with us for forever, and he's our marketing director at Simple Shot. But over the last 8 years we've been working together, he has really grown to love slingshots and recognizes the potential for the hobby being much greater than just a little side sport. That it just brings people so much joy. So, with my knowledge and Jacob's skills and tech, we brought together Slingshot Mastery.
Excellent, because you've got a fabulous wellspring of information and a bit of a gift for presenting it. But of course, it's like my fat self. I've got like websites, but I know naff all about running them. But again, like a top photographer, it only works if your super tech actually understands and gives a damn about the subject. It's like fishing photographers need to get in the lake, and rock and roll photographers need to understand about seriously changing light conditions. So, Jacob, you get this whole thing with a bit of a pass. You understand that noise when a kid hits something and everyone goes, "Oh, that's so good!" There's that joy noise.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I'm going to get in it.
Joy is really a big part of it. For many years, we knew that really increasing your skill in slingshots is going to unlock the joy of it. So I believe it was back in 2015 when Nathan and I first said, we really should make it. So 3 years really in the works. In 2018, we finally got things recorded and got it together. But it has been a fun journey. Getting to know Nathan got me into slingshots, obviously, as soon as I met him. So like you say, I think that's critical. Anybody can put a website together, but it's been fun to partner on this because we both love slingshots. We both know the joy of slingshots. So it's fantastic.
And what's even more important, Adam, is we did this not as a venture to grow a brand or to make money selling slingshots. Our long vision for this is to provide an opportunity for the pillars of the community, the influencers, the best shots in the world, to have a platform to put their education and their curriculum on. So when folks go to learn about slingshots, they don't have to sift through gobs of videos on YouTube and get pointed in contradictory information. One spot for the very best information on slingshot shooting in one place, curated education, if you will.
Yes. So that little smile is because when I finally got it, I used the C word on you, did I not? But more than a few letters. Curated. No, sir. I didn't call you names. I didn't say. I used the word curated because it is overworked. But in this era of hogwash, piffle, and nonsense, and who is right? This is something again so pompous. But before I became a journalist, I wrote to a magazine and was saying that all you cared about was the opinion of someone whose opinion you can respect. So it doesn't matter if that video's got an awful lot of views. The bloke can still be an idiot and have it basically wrong, and you don't know what is the good stuff.
Right.
And because this is yourself, let's face it, you do know everyone who actually matters. And this is one of those things, it's like when you look at some of his friends and say, "I don't know Nathan." But the plot is that you're beyond well connected, and that means that you're going to have the folks that proper matter joining you. And I gather you've already been talking to John Webb, my mate out in
we have cast our web quite, so to speak. We've asked a lot of folks within the community to be a part of this. And one thing that we're seeing is a bit of a challenge is we got to get these folks to understand that this is not about Nathan. This is not about Simple Shot. This is about creating great content for the community.
Passion driven.
And it is a for-profit venture. So, we want to pay these folks to create content. We want to pay these folks to spread the word.
Yes.
We want everybody to grow from this.
This is one thing which I found in the UK catapult community to be a bit of a problem, which is everybody doing it just for love. I mean, the thing doesn't start up and get some momentum without things happening pretty much just for love. But without companies that can actually work and do a thing that self-sustains, you don't have any growth. I've been nagging the good old ESF, the England Slingshot Federation, saying, what if you made a profit then instead of that one public address box that some little Herbert snapped the aerials off, you could actually get a professional PA system with 2 big boxes. Yeah, it's actually $5,000 for one of them, a really good one. And you could hear him thinking, oh, it's make a bigger stage, a bigger production. That's really what needs to be happening. And without something that actually works, it's like the magazines, which have been part of my world forever. I grew up listening to my mother talking about women's magazines being redesigned across the breakfast table. Without that working, you don't have something that's actually worth something that builds. And they actually have to be a proper enterprise. So that's actually encouraging, because there's people going to say, what, they're actually going to be able to buy their kids shoes as a result. It actually means that it's something that can continue, and I'm absolutely solidly behind that, especially as it's coming from where it's born, and the actual passion that you do have. This is something that a bit of you can't not do this.
Well, it's going to happen. The sport is growing. Yes. We formed the World Slingshot Federation in China this past November. We're making pitches to the IOC. We're gathering up nation entities for Slingshot Federation.
Yes.
It's going to happen. The sport has got the momentum. The wheel is turning. We've got the kinetic energy, so to speak. So if it's going to happen, let's get out front and make sure that we're doing it. We're leading the leaders of the sport today. Let's lead into the future. Because as things grow, oftentimes things shoot off to the side and we lose sight of the spirit of the sport. And slingshots are pretty daggone simple. There's not a whole lot that you can say about them that hasn't already been said, but you can make up a lot of bullshit that just doesn't make sense at all. And that tends to happen.
The parallels with angling are entire.
Yeah.
It starts with a stick and a string and a hook. And
right.
What's that movie house? Is it DreamWorks? Flip the kid with his fishing pole, just dropping it in the water. And it finishes off with, how scientific do you want to get? And the same thing, perfect parallels. It's especially you can go on discussing elastics and latex chemistry and technology till you've got a degree course going, But this is really exciting stuff. Tell me some names. Give me some names. I mean, I know the word Schmen's involved, but can you name anybody else yet that you've got ready to go and join in? I'm going to do.
We've got a lot of folks that say yes, let's do it, but we haven't created that content yet.
Yes.
So Moan Waller, Zach Fowler, Dan Ambrosius.
Yes.
I think John Webb would like to do something with us, but of course he doesn't fly, so we're going to have to go to him.
Does he not go on airplanes at all?
He doesn't go on airplanes.
Is he doing the full B.A. Baracus? I don't get no plane.
Exactly.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh dear, it's like I can see Kermit the Frog as the captain in Treasure Island, and somebody going, "He has demons? Cool." Oh dear, bless him. He won't fly.
Apparently not. But yeah.
How much does it cost to put him in a boat? That's the whole family, though, isn't it? That's quite a deal. That's the SS Tata. Sorry, I'm just slightly taken with that. Bless him.
But the great side of it is we've got production house capacities, and a lot of these folks that we're asking to do things already have some experience there. So with John, happy to have him create content, and we'll host it for him and promote it. And so it works out a nice back scratch.
I reckon the only issue will be whether he can do the full-on taking editorial direction, because just in the same way that I'm unlikely to drop
we would
words,
never ask a creative person that shoots slingshots to take editorial direction. It just doesn't work. That's like hurting.
I suppose when I say editorial direction, as in at least to go, "Hello, my name's John Webb, and today I'm bringing you some stuff for the Slingshot Mastery website."
That wouldn't be John Webb,
That wouldn't be him. Hello, I'm teaching you this. Yes.
Yeah. No, just come as you are.
Yes.
So, or we'll work with you. Either direction. The goal here is if you've got a topic, if you've got an area of expertise, something that you want to share, that you want to be the de facto information source on, we want to help you create that.
That's uber cool. But the question I then got immediately from what you just said, would be also directed at our technical Mr. F here, which is, have you got any stuff out that you think is already good enough to go, hey, this is John Webb's take on how to do this. It's got 3.2 million views. This is good content. Check this out, sort of thing. By way of, the simple YouTube embed. It's out there for free, but this is about that whole curating the whole saying that this bit here, this is really, really good, and we say so. It's not an ugly thing to assert. You have to do that as a media entity. You have to be the authoritative
the idea
voice.
Is what we're looking for is we're looking for bite-sized pieces, something that's digestible, that brings immediate value. So if you look across YouTube, there's a lot of great content out there, but you have to really sift through it. You have to look for it. You have to look for the tidbits. So the only thing out there that I can say meets what we're trying to do today would be the Simple Shot Pro Tips, 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Now we want to expand on that, but we want to take one idea and dive deep into it. So that's one that we're working on now is making your own bands. So this will be a really long course. But then we've got another sub course just on understanding the physics and the principles behind latex. Yes. So taking a deep dive, a 5 to 7 minute dive into how latex works and why you need to understand it. That's it. That's content that you can find elsewhere for free, but you have to piece it together.
Yes.
So a lot of times folks just want to know, and there's certain parts of the sport, there's certain parts of slingshot shooting that you absolutely have to understand and embody to carry forward with top accuracy to attain mastery.
Yes.
So it's those bits. And of course we've loved, trick shooting. There's tricks there to trick shooting.
Yes.
Shooting with sights. It works for some, doesn't work for others. There's a lot of information, one side or the other. Let's just find one pointed way to talk about it and get an expert in there. Yes. I'm not necessarily the expert, but I'm here because I've got a lot of friends who are.
But you know all of the, put it this way, you know enough to know who are the experts you respect.
Exactly.
Yeah, I posit that it's entirely mutual and that these experts only really love you because you're damn fine too, Governor, at knowing about what you're on about. But apropos which, blown smoke up, I want to know a bit more about how do you envision Slingshot Mastery website actually looking? Will there be lots of, will it only be embedded video? Will there be any sort of reads there to have as well with people having here's an article as such? Will there be words in a row, or is that something you're not going to?
Well, one thing, I don't think, is Adam a part of the community yet? I don't think he is he? There's a forum component to the website.
Oh, I'm afraid I've lurked the hell out of it.
Okay, and you've seen that.
Adam, I can share my screen with you and we can just put it up here. How about that?
Lovely, yes.
Yeah, let me just.
Mornings. I've, as I said, I've been to have a little lurk, and it's again where I began on the internet, which was a forum, and it devolved out to Facebook handling everything with everything that Facebook means. Gap for, oh my God, really? And this is actually requalifying a community. You're only going to be there because you, first and last, care enormously about Slingshot Mastery.
When you join right now, this is the Founders Bundle. Little play on words here since our two first.
Oh, this I've seen, and I'm busy wading through foundations.
Yeah,
and I've had a look at the community.
Foundations and Found Slingshot. So yeah, the community. It is a very simple forum, but we've had some good activity in here so far. We just have a few topics.
Yes.
Getting to know people. People are connecting on here, finding other people near them, which is fantastic. We're really happy about that. I think to speak to what Nathan was saying about how we want to present material, I think
we're looking at it.
Kind of says it all in that we have broken things down into a sequence modules with lessons in each module. So I think as you move through here, you really get a picture of, okay, this is a progression from start to finish. And we broke it down in a way that came out of a lot of research that we actually did. I think this was just really fascinating. We talked to a lot of people. We actually just put a survey out there, asked for input for many months. Far and away, the number one thing that people said that they needed was just more accuracy. They needed help with accuracy. I
just want to hit it. I just want to hit it. I want to make that noise. I hit it.
So by and large, over and over, the thing we heard was, I just need to shoot better. I just need to shoot better. I need help shooting better. So this class was born. As a follow-up to that, we asked a follow-up question, which is, what target can you currently hit 8 out of 10 times at 10 meters? And our responses showed us exactly where we needed to go. So we have broken the course down into basically what can you hit starting with someone who can hit absolutely nothing. They need to learn the basics. That's module 2 with safety, introduction to the slingshot, latex, ammo, how to set up a range, those type of things. Now, granted, this is Nathan speaking, so these are great lessons. These aren't for babies. They're fantastic. We've had a lot of people say, wow, module 2 was excellent, even though they already can shoot. So we take you all the way from not being able to hit a thing to being able to, as we say, hit the broadside of a barn, all through hitting a paper plate size target to a can to a spinner. And this is the fun thing about this is that it was really based on feedback. We talked to people and saw what they could do. And the majority of the people we talked to, and we did talk to a broad range of people, were in that paper plate range. That was the median. We had some people who couldn't hit anything, some people who can hit spinners, but the majority of people said, I can probably hit a paper plate. So there you go. It's a lot more fun to hit a can than a paper plate.
Yes. Especially when you manage to tear the thing in half. One thing is, having been in to have a look at this and wanting to go get at it, I would add just a little constructive crit, which would be, I think it might be a really good thing to have the video duration somewhere in that visible text on the screen, because a little part of it, this is me trying to scroll your screen, a little part of me wanted to see what was involved in all of it, and I was very slightly daunted, going, oh my gosh, that's lots. And only as I started to actually get in them did I go, oh, this is what you've been telling me. This is seriously bite-sized. And when you see that it really is. It's only, you know, that one is 1 minute 19 seconds long there.
Yeah, I think our longest is about 8 minutes.
Yeah, but put it this way, I think I personally, it was just me as editor type looking at it from the outside looking in, that 1:19 could do it being somewhere in the stuff that ends up on that intro page.
Gotcha.
That's a suggestion, just from the point of view of looking and going, gosh, that's a lot of stuff, which is good, because that's kind of what you want to be signing on for and so forth. It's about the value of it, but it's something that's so germane to any video platform I've seen. Apropos of which, are you hosting all of these? Is this your own bandwidth you're using here?
Yeah, we are hosting. All our video is hosted on Wistia, which is our preferred hosting system. They're
Gotcha.
pretty stable, very stable.
Yes.
And they also allow, because of this, you will track what you have done. So, for example, when this video is complete up to about the 85% mark, you'll be congratulated. Excellent. You've completed.
I noticed that it was all counted as to what you watched and hadn't watched, and
right.
But more than that it triggered all this. Well done, you've completed this. It was, and I was just wondering about that. Of course, I admit ignorance about the hosting site. I just know that bandwidth can be an issue if you're hosting it your own self, and of course you're not.
We've got plenty. Yeah.
Yes.
This even at this point, well, see, I didn't do enough to trigger it. But when you do start working your way in here, it will show you how much you've done. All these little bars will show your progress. So we think that's important too, just to be able to track.
Oh, yes. No, vital. It's a cool thing. So I take it you could end up with a whole bunch of individual bite-sized bits from, say, John Webb, and you'd have an image for him to put on who the instructor is. And,
one thing that we think is really great about learning in general, but slingshot specifically, is that to shoot a slingshot well, you've got some foundational physical principles that have to be engaged. It's simple physics. You've got to do the same thing the same way every time, consistency.
Yes.
And then the other part of that triad is your mindset, how your awareness of those other two processes. So what's beautiful about learning is that everybody learns a little bit differently, and anyone that attains mastery in whatever their pursuit is will have a different way to communicate their mastery to another person. So what we're inviting to do here is we've kind of set the ground with the foundations course, really is the foundations. Slingshots are very simple. You've got a mindset that has to grow with your skill set. That's born out of your awareness of the simple physics and then the consistency. We lay that out there. Everyone who's a great shooter understands all of those things in their own way. And what we need to do is have as many folks explain these foundational principles from their point of view so that you can reach more and more people. My teaching style tends to be a little more esoteric. That hits certain people, might just completely miss other folks. But we're all teaching the same thing, the same foundational principles, but from a different background and a different mindset. And that's what we're inviting in here. No one's wrong. Anyone that shoots well, the proof is in the pudding.
Yes.
You know, if you can put your targets on shot and you can talk about why you're doing it, you're going to convey your wealth of information. So that's what we're inviting. We're looking at all these folks that are outstanding shooters saying, come tell us how you understand yourself to be an outstanding shooter. Yes. And that right there is when you can teach somebody what you know, it deepens your knowledge of it. And at the same time, you're sharing it with everyone else. So it's just a great system. I mean, slingshots are there for sharing. Think how many great stories we see on the internet of like, well, I was down on my luck, but Joe sent me a slingshot today and I just overfilled with joy. Yes. It's all about sharing. It costs so little. Yes. So yeah, that's part of the spreading the love.
Excellent. It's important thing about also that the different approach from different teachers. I think there's a whole bunch that I certainly know on this side of the pond who haven't got a clue how they do it. There's one guy who did a trick shot and it was bloody fabulous. And the camera was set up so you could hear him breathing. And I made some comment about, oh mate, you're like one of those biathletes. I can hear you hold your breath for a moment. He said, I have no idea I was doing that. He's doing a whole serious, full sort of, you know, do you know about the Nordic sport biathlon? It's about Langlauf skiing, which is skis with pointy tips for going a long way, and then they're shooting with the rifle while they've been absolutely completely out of breath, but they have to sort of slow down and stop, and then it's one of the ultimate in physical control by mental, and he didn't know he was doing any of that malarkey at all, you know. And
well, then I think you're going to really enjoy diving into the foundations class. You know, stepping back to speaking about that, we treat it as a progression. Every class, so we start with the foundations of release, anchor, consistency, band length. That carries all the way through to the expert side of things, but then it goes into the nuance of it. So in the beginning, we understand that we need to have a good release with our brain. And when we get a good shot off, we start to make the connection that those two are intertwined. Then as you get to the point to where you can, keep all your shots in a can, you don't think about it anymore. But then when you get to the point to where you're trying to put all your shots on a small spinner, you start thinking about it and it sends you right back to being a beginner. But you've got a deepened sense of how you feel inside your body doing it. Therefore, you have to change your mindset about the way you learn and the way you treat yourself. Negative self-talk. It happens behind the scenes.
Damn, I missed. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, that serves no one.
I know someone who's so in the grip of that right now. He's doing the ISCOR. He's one of the guys you're talking to as an affiliate. And he has got something like, oh God, did you ever see that movie, The Midwich Cuckoos? Build a brick wall in your mind. He can't get the 10th out of the 10 shots to get to that last thing. He gets to number 9 and something in his head goes, you cannot do this. And he can't.
Well, if he's on our short list, then he is got the course. So.
In half at range, instantly on an instant. I've seen things he can do, you would believe. And you know him, but right now, and I won't name him because he'll hate me for it, but right now, is he ever stuck on that? And it is entirely between his ears.
Yep. Well, that's where it lives once you move beyond shooting at a can.
So that's the heavy duty stuff. That's like the bloody Olympics. They employ two kinds of coaches. That they one that teaches them eat more chicken nuggets. In the case of Usain Bolt, that was him being naughty. But they do have people who do nothing other than
mindset training.
Think like that. Yes, it's a whole bracket of it, and that's the difference between shooting well and shooting amazingly well. And you haven't even mentioned
a
target. I saw you whip out your pocket and hang in a tree in my local common. I'm just showing off. And you used the expression, what was it? Aim small, miss small.
That's it.
a little orangey pellet about the size of a flaming target. The target was about the same size as the ball you were shooting. I just took one look and went, oh, hopeless for me. I didn't even attempt. There was a spinner nearby, and I think I hit it once or twice, but it really was. It's one of those moments when you go, yep, there's a whole world. I thought I was reasonably, oh dear.
Well, you see, you have to look for the, as you progress, you've been shooting a slingshot since you were a kid.
Yeah.
Your body understands the fundamentals of how to shoot a slingshot.
Yeah.
You've had amazing shots in the past. You've had that feedback loop closed up. You've had instances of great success.
Yes, luck mostly, but yes, those mostly.
You hear there, just your comment that you made to me, that was the negative self-talk. That there's a part of you that doesn't believe that you can consistently.
Yeah. That wasn't on purpose, viewers.
So if you start paying attention to how you feel internally, and you get to the, you'll know you make the switch when you're surprised that you miss. Because when you're surprised that you miss, that means you're not thinking about missing at all.
Yes.
It's not even a part of your awareness.
It's
that's the expert mindset, and we all have the capacity for it.
Yes.
Shooting the slingshot is a very, very simple act. Mastering the mind with that simple act, that's the nut to crack.
When you see someone who can, when you see one of these marvelous shooters close up, and because I've been making this magazine, it's you want to make yourself look cool, so you associate yourself with the coolest people. But watching what they can do gets all the way to the point of making you feel just a little bit sick compared to your own talents. But at the same time, there is that fascination. I've got in one of my videos, again, one of your affiliate dudes shooting. It was a little berry thing, and I'm zoomed right in on it, and the voice is audibly, 10 meters away across the clearing. The ball flies into shot, and it slows right down because you don't see the steel ball, and there's a lot of red. You see the pip of the actual berry leaving the pulp behind. The steel ball changes angle because it hits the pip. And you see the pip, and you think, he's shot the pip out of that berry from the other side of the crossing. And the lovely thing is, there was a slight cry of surprise by the shooter, which again, I was going, no, mate. So I was being a little bit on your side of, I'm not surprised. He marveled. But he did it on purpose.
He believed he could do it. He wouldn't have taken the shot if he didn't.
Exactly, which is still cool. But it was it's one of the better bits I've got on video. So looking enormously forward to various spots. I noticed, although I asked quite pointedly, you did the most elegant swerve around about not wanting to name folks who haven't actually said yes yet.
Well, whether they say yes or no,
you will have them,
folks, and that offer stands.
And I know who you're talking to. It's just about you being polite about it. Don't want to drop no names without them having said absolutely. It's Have you seen The Masked Singer? It's a terrible show on the telly where you don't know who it is inside the stupid costume, and they can say the famous name of anybody, even if they've not actually have anything to do with the show. And you're too stinking proud to be doing any of that nonsense. But no, and the ones I've heard about are just the folks that you really do want to know about. But having said that, of course, we're talking about Moan, and he's going to make great content, I think, as well as John. And yeah. What about our very own young John Jeffries? He's a little shy, is the only thing.
Yeah, I hope he can get over it, because I'd really like to shoot a course with him on butterfly shooting.
In that case, may I offer my services as media bully, and I will take editorial direction. You tell me what the heck you want. Because all he'll say is, how do you want me? What do you want me to say? And we can do the Woody the Cowboy doll effect, which is, hello, what's your name? Oh, I'm John Jeffries.
That'd be perfect.
I gather you shoot full of, what do you call that? Well, I call it butterfly. Wow. Okay. What does that look like? And he's got very straightforward answers, and he doesn't have to be being a presenter. But please, actually, when he gets interested, he does talk quite happily on camera, but he doesn't have much ego to sort of want to go, hello, I'm me. This is completely awesome. Like, I'm afraid I've done it.
Well, I think that's what makes his style of shooting so nice to watch. He's a gentleman, and he's got a very graceful shooting style. I enjoy watching him shoot. Yeah,
it's pretty hectic. There's a couple of people who do that. One of them in particular does shoot butterfly, but he doesn't do it with grace. He does it with an ugly violence that frightens the crap out of me. And that's Mr. Bats Edwards. And I met him. He's living in Scotland. And big fella's got muscles like tugboats in those arms, so it doesn't really look it. I had my lovely new Chinese catch box and a fairly decent orange steel spinny dangly thing inside that, which I made some dents on. I think that was very clever. And I set this up at the shoot. And first off, there's a rain of hell as people shoot it in all places, and the stitching's being torn and the frame's being dented. Oh, no. But then there was this evil sort of whap whap noise that went past my ear and frightened me a little bit. But at the same instant, there was a pop sound from inside my catch box as the target disappeared that was uglier than anything I'd heard it make. And I had to go and get it. Look, he had bent the damn thing into a dish shape with one shot.
Nice.
From a 9.5 with a power that was just absolutely terrifying. And he just laughed like, I think it was Beavis at the time. You know, but yes, I do love that man. He's also the most amazing photographer, that chap. John is a very creative fellow too. A lot of these guys often are, aren't they? We find that they have that in common. The top makers and often top shots.
Well, one thing I've always found amongst the slingshot community, anyone that makes the slingshot a part of their life, they're the most creative, kind, and genuine people, and always a little weird.
Yeah, a bit of poetry in their soul. Sometimes it's a weird one.
Yeah.
Oh, some of the coolest people I know are catapult people. Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
And some of the strangest.
I've made some lifelong friends in the catapult community.
Yes, it's. I just kick myself for having spent at least 3 years of. I mean, I'm old enough. I got a frozen shoulder. The nice lady offered me some. I'm gonna have to turn this off, I'm afraid. Offered me some magical orange elastic, and I went, "No, I've got something better. I have some 1/4 inch from my youth," and she was offering me Therabane gold.
Yeah.
So I missed a couple of years, but yes. But that's yes. Do you find steel balls showing up in your world in odd places?
Oh, they're everywhere. My wife calls them Nathan droppings.
For a while, I had one in the bottom of the car, and my wife gave me this look. You'd stop. All the noises would stop,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
the sound of a steel ball rolling up a bit of metal, roll, 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 stop. Just looked at me with this like.
Yep, been there, done that.
Yeah, steel balls over the place. But this is terribly exciting stuff. And
yeah, so back before Mark called, the way our system works, the whole affiliate thing, just to explain that.
Yes.
We want folks that believe in what we're doing to spread the word. Not me. We're not into self-promoting this. If you find value in it, we want to reward you for that. So we've got a cart called Thrive Cart. So if you set yourself up as an affiliate, it's as simple as getting a link that's dedicated to you. And if you believe in our program, go post it anywhere you like, any of your social media, say, hey, this helped me out. I'd like to share this. If you buy it through the link, I'll get a kickback and you support this cause that helped me be a better shooter. And I think you can too. So you're getting financially rewarded. It's basically mailbox money.
Yeah.
It does sound a little of a stretch for folks who have never done it before. It's a really common thing. The affiliate link program is really simple. It's pretty well dialed in these days. We
might be a little bit backward here on this rock off the north coast of Europe, but we know about influencers, and this is influencer marketing. There's a bunch of people who trust nobody except Keith Dart and that bloke with England Slingshot Federation, and he's making some of his own videos, and he really knows some stuff, and he may well be a geezer who'll want you to help sign up on the affiliates, but in particular, John Webb is treated as a man god in slingshots by an awful lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
And they might not know of anybody else. I just watch him just because he's brilliant, you know. Same thing with, you know, Mark and John. It could well be, it's like, well, if they say so, then I think this could well be a worthy thing. But it's also, I think the other thing is to actually stress the value of the community, of the qualified community. Because I spent years in one of them, and at its best, it can be bloody fabulous. When it's only on the likes of Facebook and you can get some horrible troll just come in and shout rude words at you, it's tedious beyond belief. And it's
we're setting an expectation.
VIP rope, you know.
Our expectation for the Slingshot Mastery community: just be nice to each other. It's the golden rule. It's as simple as that.
Yes. Are you going to have moderators 24/7? That's one of the big ones, actually. You need a moderator with a ban hammer who's able to go, yes, that's you guys. That's
And
there's a rod for the back. I can see your face going, oh, yeah, that's going to be a whole thing.
Don't foresee that being a real problem, but we'll handle it on a case-by-case basis. There's always one bad egg, but they're not invited, so.
Yeah, that's how the plot is that because this is that VIP room with a big fat velvet rope, you kind of have to have your name's on the list or you're not coming in. You're not going to be letting people you've never heard of just, oh, yeah, come on in.
No, to create content, no.
No.
But anyone that wants to learn how to get more joy, more enjoyment out of a slingshot, shoot it better.
Yes.
Or just learn various things about the sport of slingshots.
Yes.
We welcome anyone and everyone. Just be kind.
Yes.
That's
Which
easy
is
as
a
that.
very simple rule. It's not complicated.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll definitely need moderation just because there's some people get different definitions of what being kind is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, I'm telling you, and this is a kindness, you're a moron. I've seen that so often. It's people can sometimes disagree, but it's terribly exciting stuff.
Well, much like the mindset of expert shooting, our mindset is going to be of kindness, and we're not even going to put in our hold the mental space for turds to come in and mess up this nice place. So, not even on our radar. Good.
Glad to hear it. So, how long do you reckon it'll be before you'll be able to bully some content out of other creators to the big one?
We are hoping very soon. Unfortunately, I've got a great class on paper right now, but I just started a skin cancer treatment, so I'm going to be a red cherry for the next 4 weeks.
Oh, missed a bit too much time in the sun, huh?
Yeah, just fair skinned and 44 years old.
Yes.
So
and being a bit of an outdoors dude. Yes.
But hopefully we can. We're going to be doing a few updates to Foundations. We just shot some content last week. Just some add-on content that'll be dropped in there. That's another thing about this Foundations course. As we get feedback, it will grow. We'll add to it, and then when the time comes, we'll do a 2.1 version.
Yes.
Because what we're doing here is we're approaching this in a way that no one's ever really approached slingshot shooting. It's nothing uncommon to the marksmanship discipline, but no one has ever put this triad of thinking together.
Yes.
So let's see where it goes, and we'll make it as great as we can.
So you're saying there are parallels in other shooting disciplines of communities?
Oh, absolutely. You have to understand the simple physics of whatever marksmanship tool you're using.
Yes.
You have to understand how to use them in a consistent manner, and you have to have a mindset that can take you through that progression. Slingshots are not unlike that. It's just a different tool. Instead of, gunpowder burns at a certain rate at a certain altitude the same way every time shot to shot. Slingshot bands don't have that consistency. There's always going to be some variables that are different from other shooting sports. So understanding that, understanding the depth of it, the nuance of it, then you can begin to embody an expert mindset rather than just saying, I understand this intellectually.
It's a different thing to actually know for a fact that it's like I've been waiting to find out. And people always make this reference to find out what suits you. So all I know is that is 31.5 inches. And that I haven't really got a flaming clue. I shoot far too many things. I kind of want to be able to shoot everything well, but you then see someone who absolutely knows what they're doing, and they talk about the gap that they request and require for their own thing. The last toy out of China that I had a look at, going in and out and up and down and round and round, and those are sights. And both guys I was filming with were slightly puzzled, going, "Oh, it's actually quite surprising. I can do that with it." And the spinner hung up wrong and was only showing the edge, and again at 40 foot, pock right on the edge of it, he hit it. It was to me, and you could even go, "Oh, you," and I call him a name. Just again, it's that negative thing. It was just when someone's that talented, But it's that whole thing about knowing what is your tape and what is your best cut, and then you're going to find the next batch of elastic isn't identical because it's a natural product,
Yeah, they're just understanding the variables.
Yes,
and understanding where just because you want to believe something to be true very badly does not necessarily make it true.
Yes,
that's part of becoming an expert as well.
Yeah, the self-knowledge, knowing when you're being deluded or not,
You've got folks that lose their minds over how bands are attached to a pouch. Oh, well, you can't shoot a TTF band set over the top.
Yes.
I've seen people shoot a tube on one side, a flat band on the other, and still light it up.
Yes,
it doesn't matter. It's when you understand the system.
Yes.
There's just some foundational principles that if you don't have a deep understanding of them, you will never make the progression. And that sometimes requires letting go of some strongly held opinions.
That's the difficult bit.
That's the difficult bit. Yeah, and that's the difficult
It's the hardest bit. I found that to be my biggest problem, because all that stuff you're talking about my youth, do you know what it meant? As the Americans say, precisely dick. When I came back to shooting, I realised I was barn door again, and what I knew meant nothing. It was terribly novel that my thumb was deformed, just like that other guy, So what? It was like very quaint. So you used to use one of those pens you had to dip in the ink, yeah, and then put it on the paper. Was it carved out of a feather? No, it was made of wood. Very quaint and interesting. Yes, I remember cars with indicators were eaten, stuck out. They would have been 1940s cars dying in the 60s. Again, how very quaint, and what the hell has that got to do with modern elastics and the fact that you can do a foot per second speed and energy that I'm not allowed to talk about in the UK? That's one thing I haven't been allowed to admit. You talk about foot pounds. Our legal limit for an air gun is 12 pounds.
Yeah, I know.
and you're laughing at the fact that 3 or 4 in the right spot will kill any damn thing you wish to hunt that's legal to hunt in the UK. In any case, is neither here nor there. But I've wanted long to do a competition called the Henchman, where we have one guy, I don't know if you met him, called Adam, come on you Spurs, Duke. He's a big, lumbering man-mountain of a guy who loves slingshots with a passion.
Yeah, I think I met him last year at ESF.
Yeah, he shoots like a bazooka, just generally in that sort of direction. But he's not a bad shot. But the main thing is that I think you could probably load him up with some stupefying thing with a lot of elastic on it and a ballistic pendulum, and he would be not far behind Jorg Sprav in swinging that thing going, yeah, anything lower than a 44 Magnum, I have more power in my arms than you can put in your cartridge. Let me show you my features. I've got to interview that man. He's so out there, but he's now doing different things with air guns and arrows and wanting to murder zombies and stuff. If he didn't exist, you'd have to invent him, and nobody would believe you is the plot. But I'm so glad he does, And I'm so glad you guys exist too, because I'm afraid if I'd been, trying to design my own perfect sort of, okay, I want an American company, I want a slingshot lunatic in charge, and he's got to have a sort of mad technical genius who's also getting infected with the deadly purpose of catapultry at the same time. Saying, that's a bit of a wish list, but there you guys are. So, thank you. From this media mogul's point of view, I've got to make a magazine about this stuff because it's all I know how to do and always have. Second generation at it, it's just beyond cool. It really, truly is. And this is an important development. It really is. The point that I've got to get across is just how vital it is for everyone to get on board. It's getting these things cooked up. You want to be able to look back in 3 or 4 years' time and go, hey, do you remember when you were talking about this thing starting up and this is now the de facto source of... And you're going to make the announcement from the IOC. Oh, dude, and you're doing it on here. Please God, guys.
Yeah.
Think big, yes. Aim high.
So, just to reiterate, this is not a simple shot venture. This is not a simple shot venture.
No, I grasp that. Will you be carrying any advertising?
Not at the moment. We haven't ruled that out by any means. Right now, we're trying to keep this very
purist.
Pure around education and getting the very best curated education for slingshot shooting. It may grow. It may. This has never been done before. So
yes, this is finding out what the hell is going on and going with instinct. It's. I was dragged kicking and screaming onto the internet from being a solid magazine journalist 15 odd years ago, and we had enormous issues with how we could or couldn't run advertising on my content versus how the community would view it. And it was very sort of gung-ho and righteous. And yet there are companies that are seen as being the ones that really matter. And if you were to get, which is what I did do, in Colorado, we had Alpine, Sony, Kenwood, JVC, Panasonic, all of those people that really mattered, all had their advertising on there all at once. This is a thing where you've got all of them on there. It's a difficult one because, of course, you'd be perceived as being also the owner of Simple Shot.
Yeah. That
people could see that, well, that's actually a counterintuitive. But if I were to be coming in there as a punter and go, dude, look, there's adverts from the big four, those 2 crazy companies in the UK, and your good self and the other one that I'm thinking of in particular that's all got different niche of product that go in different directions, starting from as you said, stuff that's just for archers, through to things that frankly are going to be bought in the UK, left in their box on their velvet, in their gold plate, and never, ever shot. The latest from Mr. Hogan's, you know. And I can just imagine if you could buy all of that through Slingshot Mastery, because only these companies, this isn't some, oh, you're going to get butter metal, the top is going to break off, come and blind you if you buy that from Ali flipping whatever it is. Don't do it. You sue me. You know, that too, I think, could be an element of curation, but that's maybe future reference, which is, again, that's just the dorsal fin rising out of my back because of the media thing and going, you want it to work and swim on its own. What could be more dripping in veracity than going, yeah, it's not just Simple Shot. Look, there's adverts from Simple Shot and everybody else on there, but only the people that really matter. You cannot access rubbish products through here. So I can see that, yeah, it looks like a bit of, maybe not. And in the meanwhile, it's totally irrelevant because this is not what that's about. And if you did start off with a bunch of advertising, it could be perceived as, yeah, you're just trying to scalp the market for cash. So
no,
it's
this is about getting more joy, having more fun with your slingshot by understanding it.
Yes.
Thereby being able to make the leap to be a better shot, because that's nobody shoots a slingshot and doesn't have the goal to be accurate.
Yes.
I don't think anybody.
I want to hit that. I want to hit that. Yes, that's
the whole point.
I think that actually comes from that part of your brain with not many wrinkles in it.
Yeah,
I think that's medulla based as against cerebrum. Getting a bit anatomical. I think that's, I want to eat a mammoth. I'm really hungry.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think I've talked with you about it in the past.
Yes.
The whole notion that it's a very intrinsically human endeavor, marksmanship.
Yes.
They will all seek to do it. Golf is marksmanship.
Yes.
Basketball is fundamentally marksmanship.
And 60,000 years ago, atlatl to throw a spear an awful lot longer by extending your arm and getting an antelope at 100 yards and feeding your family. It was definitely marksmanship. Yes.
Yep. So it stirs something inside of us that's primal and deep, and when we have that sense of connection, I think it probably lets out some dopamine that just a little hooked on it.
I think you're right.
And also, right out the gate, we're introducing a class too that just shows you how to make a slingshot. If you watch Foundations, you're going to see almost all the demonstrations are just done with a natural. We encourage early on in the class, like, go make yourself a slingshot. Like, that's a fantastic experience. And again, that just comes back to, we're not pushing one brand. Go make one out of a tree fork that's going to work fantastically, and do this whole course with a natural, some light bands. You can do it.
Yes, I watched that, and although I've looked at and known about people talking about Office Elastic, at no point had anybody actually gone, well, do you know what? If you actually do this, you've got a triple, multiple element, pseudo tapered, pure latex. And it's, I am now going to go buy a bulk bag of Office Elastics and do that. I really have to, and I'm going to make a pouch out of gaffer tape, because I'm ex-rock and roll. To see the sheer flipping size of me, I used to move big boxes around and empty lorries and things. And I'm really good with gaffer tape. And I was being rude at your video when Nathan was saying, this is cheap duct tape. I said, no, it's freehand. That's some of the best. You want to see the cheap rubbish that I've had to use in the past. And that you could tear it nicely across. But yeah, there are the Gorilla brand as named is a much heavier. This is the whole point. Duct tape, office rubber bands, and a stick. And that is, again, something I'm so with you on. I've plugged with flaming publication again here, but there are 3 of them on the street, and each one, the most important catapult in each publication is a little ratty Y-shaped stick given to me by a 10-year-old right at the front of the pictorial going, oh, there you go. That's the one. That's the 10-year-old kid that's inside every grown man who's still going to enter the competition to shoot the small piece of candy at 33 feet and have to get it with his first shot within a second. And that's some serious shooting that I've seen. Oh my God, the whole room goes silent. You know? And the explosion of, wah! When that bloke pulls off that astonishing shot and the piece of mint goes poof and shatters at the end of the range. It's just breathtaking. But in order to win, you've got to do that with your first shot.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, we keep doing it because it's fun. We keep doing it because it brings us joy.
Yes.
And, so we might as well have the best education available. And we really invite anyone that feels compelled to share their path to mastery,
Yes.
to get in touch with us. We want to hear your story.
Excellent. I shall put out the word. Certainly do my bit, gentlemen. Thank you very, very much indeed. This is gripping. It's exciting stuff. I'd much rather be part of a movement. You know what I mean? God help us, in car audio, there was only me, and it felt like being the Highlander. So just being just a little piece of being a little piece of this whole thing is just exciting for me. It's
You got a samurai sword hidden back there?
Yes, there's a rather lot of debris in my office, as seen on BBC News 24, but I didn't know I was going on national telly suddenly. Looking like this with my hair uncut and a bag of Monster Munch over my shoulder, which I haven't got today. Yes, it's fascinating stuff, and power to you, chaps. I'll certainly do everything in my power to help make it a success.
Thank you, sir.